I recently hosted a live workshop with my friend Mitchell Baldridge on the tax advantages of real estate. We cover bonus depreciation, cost segregation, 1031 exchanges, all the different ways that real estate and all the different things that make real estate the most tax efficient business in the world. So if you want to learn more about Mitchell and what he does, visit recostseg.com. And here is a replay of the workshop that we hosted a few weeks ago. Thanks for listening. All right, depreciation first. This is a pretty complex. We're gonna start with depreciation, then we're gonna build onto it with bonus depreciation right after that. But what we'll do here, Mitchell, is I'm gonna try my best to explain this in 30 seconds or less as simply as possible, and then I want you to elaborate and, as the professional, tell me, where I'm wrong or the nuance of it. And basically, the example that I like to use when it comes to depreciation is if I buy this computer mouse for my business, it's $19.99, and I submit that expense, and it is an expense, and it's a 1-year expense, and I get to deduct $19.99 that year that I incur that expense. But if I buy a building, this building that I'm in, the government says that, hey, you can't just deduct that year one. Okay, yes, it's a business expense, but it's not just written off against your taxes year one because it has a longer useful life. Residential real estate, I'm in a house right now. If you buy this and it's an investment property, 27 and a half years is the useful life. So you divide, let's say I buy $1 million worth of single family homes. You divide it by 27.5, and you have 3.63% or $36,000 a year of what we call straight line depreciation. Commercial real estate, a little longer time frame. The government says that the useful life is longer, 39 years, or 2.53% of the total value. If I buy $1 million building, I deduct it slowly year by year, 39 years against my taxes. Let's just say a building has $60,000 of net operating income. That means that if I spend $1 million, it's going to make me $60,000 of basically profit each year. You can deduct the $25,000 or the 2.56% if this is a commercial property, and year by year, every single year, for 39 years straight. We're going to talk about land value. You pull out land value. So if this property that the building's sitting on is an extra 50 grand, so it's total purchase price of $1,050,000, that's a different story. But basically what we're doing is deducting this stuff over time.
Yep. So the benefit is everything's depreciable. Like everything goes to zero. You can go buy machinery and equipment. You could go buy an airplane. You can go buy a lot of things and depreciate them to zero. The special thing about real estate is historically over time, while the IRS allows you to depreciate the building to zero over time and shield, this kind of loss from your taxable income, the building goes up in value over time if you keep it up and you buy it in the right neighborhood and all that. The other thing that buildings have that's kind of special is you have access to leverage. You have access to debt against property, which there's only so many businesses that regular folks can get into and go have free access to bank loans and bank lines of credit and capital. And real estate's
and we all know today how the availability of debt and the affordability of debt impacts real estate prices. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword, cuts both ways. But when it comes to the tax advantages, it can definitely be a tremendous advantage. So let's go through what makes it different with bonus depreciation and what is a cost segregation, Mitchell, and give us the basics of. Okay, maybe it's not just a straight line depreciation. We buy a $1 million building, 2.53% every single year. It actually works a little bit different than that.
So the simplified, I'm sitting in a big office building, you're in a house, but I'm in a $10 million office building. And so this idea of, I'm going to have $250,000 of depreciation or every year for the next 40 years is fantastic. So this idea of getting this $250 a year for the rest of my life against this building is a wonderful concept, and it helps me, offset my NOI and pay a little bit of less tax along the way. But what Congress has done is create this thing called bonus depreciation. All of these tax incentives are designed to stimulate the economy and get people to go out and spend money. And so this is what we're doing. And so Congress came out in 2017. Bonus depreciation has been around a long time, but in 2017,
Tax Cuts Jobs Act made it so that this thing called bonus depreciation, or this accelerated depreciation, which is the number one tax advantage of real estate, it was available for buildings that you buy.
Yep.
Meaning if I go buy a building that already exists, I can do bonus depreciation on it.
It used
Before
to
that,
only be
it was
a new
only
build
new development. You had
or
to
TI,
actually build a building. You had to build a building or go in and remodel a building to get what we call bonus depreciation. Now it's available for buildings that we buy that are standalone. So I go buy a self-storage facility for $1 million. Okay, yes, the building, the entire value of the property is worth $1 million, but we have other things that are not 39 years. They're shorter years. They can be depreciated quicker. The value of the landscaping, the sidewalks, the parking lots, the stormwater infrastructure, the earthwork, the carpeting, the accessory electrical, the appliances, the movable walls, the overhead doors, it all has different lifespans in the eyes of the government. So what we do is we go in and we put a value on each of those things in a cost segregation study so that we get what's called bonus depreciation. And this is a certain percentage of cost in the first year. You put it into service that has shorter lifespan. It's called 1, 2, 4, 5 stuff. It's got 5 to 15 year lifespan of these components, and it's 80% of that value is a year one deduction. Okay, so you buy a house, $1 million house. Let's say $80K of the building, $800,000 is the building value. Right here on line 3, we're buying a self-storage facility for $1 million. $200,000 of it's land, so $800,000 of it is left. Old school way, no cost, cost segregation. We would straight depreciate $800,000 over 39 years, and get a little bit of that every single year, about $20,000. But with bonus depreciation, we're doing this cost segregation study, and anything with a 15-year or lower lifespan, which is the stormwater, the outside, the landscaping, all the different parts of this building, it's bonus eligible. And in a self-storage example, it might be 30% of that building value, or about $240,000 worth of components, which is bonus eligible. And now it gets a little bit confusing here. Stay with me. It used to be 100% from 2017 to 2022. It was 100% of that value was a year one deduction. Today, it's 80%, or about $192,000 in this example, taken as a year one deduction. That is very, very powerful on a building that might make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year profit. You're getting almost a $200,000 year one deduction, and it can go to offset profits from your buildings, future profits, other buildings, other passive income, and so on.
Yep. So the one thing that kind of popped out in this is that it's worth noting that land is not depreciable. Land theoretically lasts forever, unless it is impaired somehow. But so, yeah, there's these kind of levers of cost seg that you're running into. And right now we've shown you, what is the purchase price? What is the land value? And now how much of this 5, 7, and 15-year property is in your property that can be carved out and bonused immediately. Yep. And so that becomes really, really powerful when we get into some of these case studies, because you'll start to see how this plays along with leverage and tax rates to create this massive outcome. And the big massive outcome of this whole thing is, if I take $100,000 or my limited partner takes $100,000 and hands it to Nick Huber and buys a self-storage facility, they might get $80,000 of depreciation and a deduction year one, which can be wild. There's no other business where you can really buy these long life, appreciating, wonderful
money producing
assets and get a deduction the year you buy them. You don't get that with Apple stock. You don't get that by, banking on land or buying stock in a local bank or any other kind of investments that you make out there.
Big news, guys. I created a free PDF that details my method on how I analyze a self-storage facility and figure out what it's worth. Give me a pen, the back of a napkin, and a couple metrics, and I can figure out about what the property is going to be worth to me. If you want to download this PDF, click in the show notes, the first link, and you can give me your email address and you get a email right away with 4-page PDF that outlines exactly how I think about underwriting or giving my initial analysis on a self-storage facility. Again, click the link in the show notes and you're going to get that document for free. This episode of The Nick Huber Show is brought to you by RE Cost Seg. If you want to maximize your bonus depreciation and minimize your tax liability, make sure to do a cost segregation study on real estate you've recently acquired. RE Cost Seg offers the lowest priced, fully engineered studies in the business, and you get a virtual site visit with a quick turnaround. They did 30 plus cost seg studies for me over the past year, including a short-term rental along with my self-storage facilities. And I'm also an investor in the business along with my good friend and CPA, Mitchell Baldridge, who you all know. To learn more about how bonus depreciation works, listen to episode 75 of The Nick Huber Show or visit recostseg.com to go ahead and get a free proposal that outlines the cost of the study and your potential savings. Thanks again, recostseg.com.